Hi folks, Rick here. Welcome to my channel. Alright, well I just got done racing the Iowa Series Rush Creek Rumble. It's their season opener today. It's one of my favorite tracks there, and you know, it was just a blast today. The track was actually in perfect condition despite terrible weather. I don't know what the heck happened today, but it caught me off guard a little bit there. I just wasn't prepared, but it was freezing today. Wind chill was like in the low 20s, snowing most of this morning. Started spitting a little bit out there while we were racing there. I just didn't get enough layers on. It ended up, before I went to line up there, it was so damn cold, I ended up taking my gear back off, putting my jacket on, then putting my gear back over it. That still wasn't enough. I was pretty darn cold on the line, but all went well. And then about halfway through the race, of course, you know, I started sweating like a pig with the jacket on. It started sticking on me, and I had a hard time moving, but that's how it goes there. The track was just perfect. Despite all the snow and other stuff that's been going on, the field sections were in great shape. They always have a good slalom section on this thing on a big field, and it's just as fast as you could go. It's just blowing flames out the Raptor. It's just a lot of fun. So I'm glad the track was in great shape for that, because I really enjoy that. I finished like 6 out of 9, but real happy with that. I've done 6 laps. I think this is the first time I've done 6 laps on this course, so it's kind of a record for me. I was just on the gas as hard as I could go, but obviously in with the fast group here. But good day overall. Hopefully the GoPro works. It's having some problem with the mount, and then there's a couple of creek crossings that you go through there with a lot of water, and they got a lot of mud coming out of those things there, so chances of getting mud on it's pretty good. The wood sections there were all damp and slippery more than anything else, but there really wasn't a lot of mud. But hopefully I done okay. There's a couple of times there, I'm not sure if the sound's going to work on it. My GoPro looked like it was just drenched. I don't know if I went through one of the creeks there a little bit too fast or some crazy thing. But anyway, yeah, good day. I got another one in the books. Bike ran flawless as always, and yeah, enjoy the video. Alright folks, here at the very start here of the Iowa Series Rush Creek Rumble. It is absolutely freezing. The wind chill's down in the mid-20s here. I got my jacket on, so that starts to be an issue later in the race there. I started sweating and then I had a hard time moving around, but good day overall. So I got that one guy pushed out of the way here off the track. He was having a hard time getting his bike started here, and so now we're fixing to get started here. I actually get a pretty good start here. It's nice for a change. Here we go. Just kind of keeping an eye out, make sure I don't get ran into here. Everybody in this class, this is the 50+ class, so everybody's pretty cautious, which is nice. No one wants to take a tumble. So, just racing across here. Right here, we end up going this downhill. They've done some grading on this thing. You really got to be mindful of this thing. This really gets slick down here. You can have a hard time stopping. So we're into our first wood section here. This one's kind of tight. A lot of tight turns, a lot of ruts and roots and stuff like that. This whole track, if you haven't raced here, it's got a bunch of pockets of woods. So you go through a whole bunch of woods, and then you get out in the field, you just blast across the next set of woods. You go ride those ones and catch a field and blast the next one. So it's a lot of fast sections and a lot of woods. It's just great. It's one of my favorite tracks here. You can really, it's got a slalom section on it there, which is just unbelievable, especially the track is in great condition. So right here, punch through those woods. Now we're out on our first section here of the, going to the next section. So we're headed to that next set of woods.
So again, this is my first lap. I'm not blasting too hard. I don't know if there's, sometimes it gets really bumpy or there's some humps in there. You also don't know what the braking section is. It can really get hard to stop if you're in 5th gear. Going over this little hump right here, or stump I should say. And this section is probably one of the rougher ones on the track, I think there. It's hard to see, but there's a lot of rust. If you look how on the outside of that turn, how tall the bank is, your wheel is just down in there, ends up being off camber, and there's just tons of roots everywhere. So it's just something you got to go into. There's not a lot of lines in this section, but not too bad overall. You can see the dirt's kind of really dark color. It's not muddy at all. It gets a little greasy in some spots, but there's no muds in here. It's just perfect traction. The track's really in perfect condition today. But yeah, quick set of woods here. These first 2 little ones are small. Now we're going to blast across this one here. We used to go farther to the right. It was really off camber and hard to keep straight. Now we're blasting across more of a straight line, and so it's not too bad, and it's actually not all that rough either. So just coming in here, again, a little cautious into the wood, not knowing what to expect. This is another one. This one here is pretty rough in this section as well. It gets tight. Most of these corners right here are really rutted. A lot of tree roots in them. I'm going to pull up here. I got a 4x4 behind me. I'm going to let by. Little rocky section right here we're going through. Kind of a little rough, not too bad. Just keep going. This part right here is really off camber. You'll see a couple guys go to the top section. I did that a couple times, and it's just sometimes I made it, sometimes I ended up splitting between the 2 trees back there. So I ended up going just on the outside there like the way I did. Here's really rough. It's just like 4-inch tree roots right there. It just jars your teeth out. Nothing you can do on that section. There's no way to go around it either. Again, just try to get through here. It's kind of a rough section. Still kind of fast overall there. Just when you get on the corners really get rutted and rough. Now we're coming down here into a little creek. It's a real tiny little thing, but that water's deeper than you expect, and I hate to think a little bit too fast. I got all full of water. All this water right here gets drug up on this section. About the 4th or 5th lap, this whole thing here is like a skating rink. It's really slippery right here. Actually, all the way up into here is all wet. All the water dropping off everyone's bike. But it's not really muddy at all. Just gets slick. Right here is really rutted. This section is not too bad. You can rip here a little bit. It's pretty short. Kind of get going in here. We'll make a right, and then there's a pretty good sized ditch you got to be mindful of. I kind of go through here a little bit too fast. I missed the corner to my left, but somebody's behind me anyway. Watch how fast this guy goes. This section right here, it is just rough as nails. It's just like 1-foot bumps all the way through it there. So I don't know how some of these guys go so fast. We're on a hard left here. It's very rutted. Now there's a huge straightaway, and so this one here, it's 5th gear going. I'm not wide open on this one here because it's my first lap. There could be some good sized humps in here, a few kickers, so you got to be mindful of the thing. So I'm just kind of feeling it out here on the first lap, and then you kind of crest this hill and go down. So obviously downhill you got to make a left in here. If you look straight, we're actually going to go into this wood here and actually end up going straight up that hill, but first we're going to go into the woods. So you got a good braking section here you just got to be mindful of, and then it's got a few humps coming right here in the woods. So this part of the woods here it's got a lot of ruts. You hit the ground a few times, you're dragging some spots, but overall really fast section here. It's probably one of the coolest wood sections on here, I think. Here you can get some speed going here. You do got to watch out there. There's some spots here you're just, a lot of trees really close. You got to watch out what you're doing, obviously. But not too bad. You can pretty much rip through here. Take a little line here over that bush. Get a little zigzag going through here. I think I got some people coming up behind me if I'm not mistaken. Pull over here. But the group behind me's caught up to me. Now we'll get back on the gas here. Get after it. My GoPro was slipping down here. It kind of angled down here. I'll fix it here in just a second, so I'll just stare at my tire. There we go. It's an AMA race, so I gotta have my camera mounted on the bike. You don't get as good as footage, and you don't get any good sound. You can't hear all the cussing and swearing I'm doing. So we're just about out of this section here, and again, we come out of this woods here. If you look to your right, you'll see the hay bales. That's right where we went into the woods. We just basically made a complete loop. Now we're back on another section of this straightaway here. At the very top of this section here is a road, and some people just launch off there. That's not me, so I kind of slow up just a little bit here. You never know what happens there if you happen to, your back end comes out on you or what have you. So going downhill again, you're on grass. You got to be careful coming down here. It's a little bit off camber. Make sure you're on your braking good. But this corner's not too bad. It's kind of a sweeper a little bit. But right coming up here is a really steep ditch. You got to be mindful going into. So this area is really rough. It's a lot of off camber, mainly to our left on the way it is. We're on the side of a hill here the whole time. You can see the banks on that side really high. A little bit of rocks in this section, a lot of roots. This whole section right there, you can just see it vibrating, just going over about 1 to 2 inch roots the whole time. But even with the big ruts and stuff, here's another big one you just got to be careful going on. There's a pile of stuff right there you got to manage. It's still pretty smooth. You just got to, I guess it's a little slower in the corners, and then it's got some straightaways you can get going on. Straightaways are really good. They're not that rough. It's just these corners. A little bit of an uphill here. This track, it's got a lot of rolling hills, but there's no like big hills or anything like that to climb, so it's just up and down. This section here again, off camber. It's got a nasty turn on it. There's no good way around it. You just got to go slow. It's really slick right here. You just got to stay even on the gas, and you'll go through. It's easy on those things to pull a wheelie, and one tire will get traction, the other one won't, and you'll be off in the bushes. I've done that, so I just stay even on the throttle and you get through it. Take a little shortcut here. We're going to go down into a little bit of a ravine here. This one was a little off camber. It gets a pretty deep rough in it. You can see people already hitting the ground. Not too bad overall, though. A little bit of a tight section right here. Go down here and up to the right again. Just got to be careful through some of these things. A little rough patch right here. This is another one. A lot of lines, they all lead to the same terrible corner. This corner just sucks right here, but it gets really deep after a while. It's just got to pick the line, try to stay out of the deeper part of that section. Just picking my way through some of this stuff. Yeah, a lot of roots right here in this section. A little off camber. I got a guy coming up behind me right here a little bit. Let him by. Bit of a rough corner. We go down up a little hill here. There's another deep one. Really a deep ridge on the left side. But not too bad. And a real rough patch right here again. Yeah, so we're just about down with the end of this wood section, then we're going to be racing off into the next one. There we go. So here's another straightaway again. You go up over this little hill and you're right back down to another right-hander. So another one here you just got to be careful of, make sure you get good braking. This is kind of why I go a little bit slower on the first lap. You know, I've been on this track before, so I kind of knew that one was there. Get that little jump right there as well. You got to be mindful of. This little off-camber section here to pointing to the left. It's not too bad. Again, it's just very similar terrain there. It just gets these corners get rough on you. You just got to go slow. You got a wood pile there. You got to be mindful of. That one's easy to hit. Doing a lot of zigzagging through here. Alright, so we're going to jump up over this hill and then we're going to be down into the probably one of the first mud pits that they got. This gets really bad after 5 or 6 laps. It's just all muddy down here, but you just got to keep your momentum up and it's hard not to get into the gas. A couple times there, you know, the back end starts to come around on you a little bit. So I'm trying to find some traction right here. But it's pretty firm underneath. So this one here's got a ditch in it you got to be careful of. You can easily shove stuff it in the bank, but you just got to go through and get on the gas. Just try to stay consistent here. This whole section just gets deeper and deeper with all the water getting dragged up. And then we go through up here on the ranch section here. Up here we're going to get on some cement, and it'll eventually get wet. I think either the second or third lap right here, somebody will get posted right here and tell everyone to slow down, because it's when it gets wet there's like no traction on there. It's hard to stop. So in and out of the little gates here. This is a new section of the track. I didn't know where this was going. We normally went right to the right, but they gave us a little bit more field section coming up here, which is good. So we'll go up around this hay bale here. Little rough patch right here. Let this guy by, and we're gonna get to my favorite spot of the course here. Is the slalom track. We got to cross this road. I'm gonna again a little cautious across this road, and then we're onto that slalom section. So right here's the official. This is game on right here, but this is my first time through it. Sometimes it can get rough. Sometimes there can be some humps, so you just got to watch out. But it's just going one race to the other here. You just blasting. Well, I kind of pick up more speed as I get used to it here, but hugging this one here tight, and it's on to the next one. I got flames coming out of the back of the bike here as I get going later on. It's just wide open here. Again, a little ginger on this first lap, but after that, man, it's just as fast as you can possibly go. It's where you hope your beadlocks are doing their job. You'd hate to lose a rear tire or something on one of this band you'd be over with. So now we're coming up to the road section here. So this one here again, a lot of people jump this one. I don't like jumping these roads. Now we're in another field section. This one used to just be really rough. Today it wasn't. So just picking my speed up a little bit at a time here, kind of testing it out, and then again we're going to be coming up in the woods here. So this section here, we're coming up toward the end of the race. This whole area right here, it's a little bit more tighter, I think. It's got a lot more ruts in it, a lot more trees you got to watch out for, I think, than the rest of the track. It's not too bad though overall. You can still keep your speed up there. You just got to be mindful. Not much passing going on in this section. It's a lot more tighter. But there are a few areas here. There's a couple little small straightaways, if you will, inside the woods you can pick up some speed on. But here we're doing another road crossing. It's got a little bit of a kicker to it. You got to be careful. Just trying to get through some of these corners. Again, very rutted on a lot of these ones. Just picking your way through them as best you can, trying to see if you can find a smooth line. So here's a little bit of a straightaway right here. It's a little wider. You can get some passing if you need to, but we're pretty much right back into the woods. This corner right here is just terrible. No, it wasn't that corner. It's coming up still. I thought I was farther along than I was. We'll pick our way through here a little bit. See a lot of down timber. You just got to be mindful on the side of the track. It gets really rough here in this section a little bit. Alright, so now we're on a little bit of a straightaway again. A little off camber right here, a little rough patch right here coming down, and then you can get some speed, but there's a little bit of a jump. You can go around the darn thing, but right here you just got to be mindful that you're going to go over and get a little bit of air. Here's this corner. This corner here gets really nasty. It's super rough. There's like about a 4-inch root right there. It's just hard to, a little bone jarring to go through. So get that guy past me again. So here I took the inside line. This line's, it looked pretty good on this one, but by the third lap, it had just huge ruts in there. I ended up going on the outside from then on where that guy went. I think it was just soft ground. As more people started to go through it, it just got deeper and deeper. This has got a lot of humps to it right here. It's hard to see, but they're like rollers going through here. And this is actually the starting line last year where we were at. We rode the course backwards. But yeah, we're just ripping along here. We're going to come up to the finish line in just a second. Go through a ditch. I should have went to the right. I didn't. It gets a little bit bumpier right here. But yeah, this is it for the race here for this one, lap one. Appreciate you hanging in there. Watch the second one. I am there a lot faster on that slalom course if you want to watch it. But other than that, take care. Hope you enjoyed the video. I got one more lap after this, so take care.